105, so he can pick up the 105 and go east. So he's over by, yeah, he's over by Hawthorne right now. Oh, no worries, I still have it. Oh, don't worry. Yeah, we didn't know what way he was gonna go. And thank you to everyone who is watching us on NBCLA.com and all of our streaming platforms. In the distance there, it's a little bit faint, but there is a police pursuit making its way eastbound on the 105 freeway, coming up to the 110. This is the California Highway Patrol that is in pursuit of a stolen car. It's a Kia. Looks like a Kia Soul to me. Looks like he's exiting. So exiting Vermont on the 105. They're near the interchange with the 110 freeway, so very close there to the metro station. We're just coming through the LAX airspace, so that's why we're not as close as we normally like, but going under the 105 there at the 110. I'm just gonna widen out. Popped out the northbound side there, northbound Hoover at Imperial. He's got a red light. Continuing northbound Hoover. So we're in the South LA area, just on the west side of the 110 freeway, north of the 105. There you go, there's that Kia. There's the CHP moving in for what looks to be a possible pit attempt, but the vehicle just kind of came to a stop and turned around. So going to be perhaps U-turning. No, going to make a turn there. So going to make an eastbound turn there on 109th Street. I don't know what that CHP officer was trying to do back there. That was interesting. It almost looked like he was trying to pit, but then just kind of went right by him. So we're in a residential neighborhood now in South Los Angeles, just off the 110 and the 105. This, again, is the California Highway Patrol that is in pursuit. Airstrip overhead. CHP officer getting in there. It almost looks like he wants to pit, but I wouldn't do it here. I'd wait till a nice wide open street like this one, except you have a lot of cars here on either side of the street, but I think they're going to go for it. I did hear them talking about possible pit attempts, which is really unfortunate because this is a stolen car, so it's unfortunate for the rightful owner. Their vehicle is going to get returned to them with a nice dent there on the rear if they do this pit, but it looks like that's what they're going for here on Figueroa. So running parallel to the 110 freeway, just on the west side of it. Moving in for the pit right now, CHP. There you go. Did the pit. Let's see if it was successful. It looks like you might just get boxed in here by a couple of CHP units, but it's going to go back, hit those cruisers, and you can see them trying to break the windows. Wow, that was very bold of the officers there with their batons, trying to break out the passenger window after that failed pit attempt. And you can see that the vehicle is continuing on here. Again, possibly a stolen car, a Kia Soul from what I can see. Silver in color, coming up to the 105, 110 here. Really picking up speed here. Imperial at Broadway, running red lights. This is very concerning because this is a on Imperial Highway. Imperial Highway runs parallel to the 105, and it looks like you may be moving in towards a gas station here just to cut through. So it's going to be northbound Main. So Main runs on the east side of the 110 freeway. It's one of the major streets here through the area. So Main north of Imperial Highway. Again, possible stolen car. Started in Beverly Hills, worked its way there on surface streets for a while before the CHP got behind it. And they picked it up near the 90 Marina freeway. So it was near the 405 and the 90, and they've been on it ever since, and being really bold with this one. I think that's the best way to describe it. We've seen pit maneuver attempts now here in the South LA area. And it looks like we might see one more. Oh, look at that. I have no idea what that was about. That was not a police cruiser. That was what looked like a civilian vehicle moving very close to the suspect vehicle. I have no idea what that person was doing. But it was another Kia Soul that tried to ram this Kia Soul. I have no idea what that person was thinking or why they were trying to intervene. But here's the CHP trying to do another pit. But you can see just how difficult this is at those very slow speeds. That's not ideal for a pit. You want them to have enough momentum to be able to do that pit. But there's that other Kia. So unclear what their role in all of this is, but clearly they're getting in. They're clearly intervening with these police operations, which is a crime. So you see that it's one Kia behind another. The one that is in the pursuit is the second one. So unclear what that first one has to do with any of this, if they know the suspect in the stolen vehicle pursuit, or if they're just a civilian who thought they would intervene and try to help, which you never want to do. So this is a new one for me. I've seen other vehicles try to intervene before, but never like this. This is really interesting. What looked like two Kia Souls here paralleling each other northbound on Main Street through the South LA area with CHP behind. I'm probably going to get confused here on which is which, but I know that this one is the one that was in the pursuit, and that second one that's up ahead that just went blacked out is the one that pretty much came out of nowhere and tried to pit the vehicle in that pursuit. They just made that turn there to the east, while the pursuit, though, continues northbound on Main, coming up to 91st, and they're also making an eastbound turn just one street to the north of where the intervening vehicle got involved. Just made a turn as well. And we're a little bit further than we'd like, of course, because we're in the LAX airspace, so we're forced to stay a little bit further. But this is 90th Street at Wall, South Los Angeles, southbound, but now westbound. So really weaving in and out of this neighborhood. So maybe an area they're familiar with, because otherwise you would think they would just stay on the major streets. So they're back on a big street, though. This is Main. So again, Main is the north-south and runs just on the east side of the 110 freeway. CHP cruisers behind them, and of course, we're in the LAX airspace, so that's why we're staying a little bit further up this pursuit, continuing northbound here, coming up to 88th Street. So if you're just joining us, again, this is a stolen vehicle pursuit started in Beverly Hills. It's a silver gray Kia Soul. CHP
Sounds like
in pursuit
92nd, westbound 90.
with ground units and an air unit making its way northbound along Main Street, which is going to be just on the east side of the 110 freeway. But we have to shoot it from a distance because we're not allowed to work that area during a pursuit like this because of all of the planes that are landing in LAX, of course. So we're just going to kind of keep tabs on it from a distance, continuing northbound on Main Street, coming up to 77th. Yeah, if you can go north on the 110. You can't do the freeway? It has to be Alameda? Let's do it. We're going to try to work our way north as well. We can't stay over the vehicle because of the airspace restrictions. We're going to stay as close as we can and try to work our way to the north. So we'll try to keep tabs of it from a distance. We're going to be making its way northbound on Main. There may be times when I lose sight of the vehicle, but I can hear it on the scanner, and then I'll just relay what I hear. For those of you who are following along on the scanner, it is on the CHP frequencies. It's on the blue. So blue 3, B as in boy, if you're following along on the scanner. Still northbound Main at gauge. In order for us to go around, we have to go east to Alameda, and then we can take Alameda to the north. And then once we are clear of the LAX airspace, we'll be able to work our way back west. So hopefully the car will be that far north when we get that far, and then we'll hopefully have a better picture for you.
Again. Okay, copy. We're seeing a little bit of a dynamic angle here because we're dealing with the LAX airspace. We are going to continue northbound. It sounds like this pursuit's still continuing northbound on Main. We have to do a little special cross and only go where LAX lets us, and they want us over the 110 freeway. So we're going to continue on the 110 freeway. We'll have a little bit of an offset shot as this pursuit continues northbound, and we're going to catch up to it here very shortly.
Up the pursuit pretty quickly, but LA County Sheriff's deputies had their helicopter overhead, and they tried to get CHP involved, and CHP did get involved. Wow, now this car is really, really flying along here. Look at this. We're like 85 miles an hour along Slauson. So it was in Beverly Hills, went south 405, then came to the Ladera Heights area. We've been down by Hawthorne Airport. This guy's been all over the place, this stolen Kia Soul. And then we heard another very peculiar detail as well, as we heard CHP on the radio saying that it looked like the vehicle was trying to ram the patrol officers, and then another Kia Soul came along and tried to ram the suspect. Don't know what that was all about. Very, very bizarre. We haven't even been able to get close enough to this vehicle to see what kind of damage there is to it. Maybe I see a little bit of rear bumper damage, not quite sure. But we are in LAX's airspace here. You see some pretty high speeds with a stolen vehicle here, Chauncey and Pat.
You know what, Desmond, were you overhead, or did you actually witness officers pitting this vehicle? Because I'm just wondering at what kind of speed this car was going when they attempted that maneuver. We know, they don't like to do it over 30 miles per hour, but if they feel they need to, they will. Do you have any information?
No, well, as a matter of fact, it was not a pit maneuver. We had heard there that they had requested a pit maneuver, and the pursuing officers were denied doing a pit because the speeds have been so high. So it sounds like it was just like the patrol cars were trying to kind of box the suspect in, and then the suspect pushed through them. And that's what it sounds like. That all happened just before we got to air with this one. And then, the other detail with that other car is very, very bizarre indeed. So you can see here we're kind of on the north end of the Bravo, tracking this as good as we can. 90 miles an hour, is that for real on Slauson Avenue? I mean, this is just really, really insane. And it makes you wonder if CHP is even going to continue with this. I mean, total insanity right here. Quite a bit of traffic out here, freeway speeds on Slauson Avenue.
And Desmond, I want to clarify this. Did you say the car tried to ram a police officer, and then a different Kia Soul tried to ram the stolen Kia Soul?
That's what we heard. That it sounded like something like that. I know it's extremely bizarre, but that was the initial radio traffic, that we heard. Now we're getting the best view that we've had so far, and you can see there is quite a bit of rear damage there to the vehicle. So. That may have been from that other vehicle that came and got involved, and CHP was wondering. We heard them. They were saying it sounded like they were thinking that maybe they were in cahoots or something like that. But everything is just happening so quickly here. Who knows what the deal is? But I don't think there's any units behind it at this immediate moment. They may have backed off a little bit because of the really insane speeds on this one.
Well, they're certainly keeping up with it overhead. That's the case. CHP doing a good job. And, of course, Mike, too, if he's up there with you, Des. Okay, so I see they've made a turn now onto La Brea in the View Park area. Do we know if this is one person? We've seen these types of pursuits so many times. There are going to be several people jumping out of the vehicle at some point, dispersing. Do we know if it's one person driving this car?
Haven't heard about how many people are inside of the vehicle at this point. I mean, it's not at all uncommon to see, multiple people in these vehicles here and, get out and run. Unfortunately now, it's not good for us with the vehicle turning southbound right now. We're kind of hamstrung where we're at. We're really getting deep into LAX's airspace, kind of, headed down towards SoFi Stadium now at this point. La Brea turns into Prairie, but you can see, you know, those pretty high, well, maybe slowing down a little bit here. So obviously, you know, that spotlight, and that is exactly why we're not able to follow this into that airspace. Oh, there you go. You do have a unit behind them right now. Let's see if they maybe try to come in with a pit maneuver right here. Are they gonna? Wow.
Yeah, they are.
Yeah, they just kind of tried to ram it right there on the side. Look at that CHP. It was kind of strange. It wasn't really a pit. He just kind of seemed to come along the side of him and try to push him into the sidewalk. Didn't work though. And the vehicle now continuing. So La Brea and Hyde Park now continuing farther west here. This one's going to get pretty difficult for us, but we'll see what we can do here.
Well,
okay, westbound.
I don't know if desperate is the right word to put here. So that's twice that they've made contact with a police vehicle, and that one we certainly saw, thought that the vehicle would be stopped, but no, he or she continued to go. We have not really been able to confirm who's actually driving this vehicle. Mike, do you have any information?
Yeah, you know, we're trying to figure this out. So I've got my colleagues, you know, Beverly Hills has a very sophisticated network of license plate readers. So we're kind of thinking that that's maybe how they picked it up, as one of the cameras got a hit on the stolen plate and notified officers. So because of the high speeds,
very long and dangerous pursuit, and especially there at the end, almost hitting that officer. That officer had to dive out of the way at the very last second as that car plowed right through his unit. But again, very dangerous situation. And what is unknown right now is who were those other cars and who were in those other cars that were trying to assist this driver to get away.
What a remarkable turn of events toward the end, and very fortunate that no one was hurt in all of this. And this suspect was
got hurt here. There was no accident, and the officers hopefully all are going home safely after we did see that one crash there into a police car, but you saw an officer run out of the way. Hopefully other officers were in the car.
Let's hope everybody is okay. Thank you so much for joining us for the Fox 11 News at 10. Our coverage of the day's news continues right now with Marla Tejas and the team from Good Night LA, which starts right now.
Welcome, everyone, to Good Night LA. Thank you so much, Alex and Christine, simulcast on our sister station, Fox 11 Plus. I'm Marla Tejas. We're sticking with the end of this stolen vehicle pursuit that just came to a dramatic end. A crash is what ended this. Now this, to bring you up to speed as we look at the black and whites from Skyfox, and we're seeing Centinela Avenue and some of our extreme nav put a pinpoint in terms of location for us. So we're working to get a specific location for you. This was a stolen vehicle, a Kia Soul, out of Beverly Hills with speeds we saw 90+ miles per hour on surface streets. Extremely dangerous. We saw attempted pit maneuvers, some really aggressive work by CHP officers on the ground on those surface streets. And then it came to a crashing end here just a few minutes ago. That suspect looked like a runner to me. He took off sprinting into this neighborhood. Very dangerous, seemingly going up on roofs. Here is the end of this crash. So this is North Inglewood Avenue in Centinela. Look at that. Just boom. And it looked like it was a black and white. Dennis Zine, a former police officer, a reserve officer, I should say, on the line as we're looking at this playback. That suspect making a run for it. He got away from some time, but Dennis, it wasn't long before law enforcement got him into handcuffs. Dennis, are you there? Okay, so apparently we don't have Dennis, but the good news here, especially if you live in this neighborhood in Inglewood, it looks like the risk to public safety has come to an end, thank goodness, as we zoom into the black and whites. That suspect in custody, the end of this stolen vehicle pursuit. All right, we'll bring you back inside and officially welcome you to Good Night LA. Here I am. Good to see you. Thanks so much for being with us on this Monday night. We also have some break.